Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Fred Masterson with Force Options here. Hey, this is our second new firearms owner video we've made. As I spoke in the last one, March has seen an extraordinary number of gun sales. In that video, I think I quoted 1.9 million. In fact, it's well over closer to 2.5 million firearm sales in the month of March alone. It's got to be a record. What that tells me, there's a lot of new guns and possibly not a lot of new gun owners. In the last video we talked about handguns, loading, unloading, and safety. So in this video, I want to talk about rifles, primarily the AR15 rifle. Lightweight, fun to shoot, affordable, very easily accessorized, and in all honesty, pretty easy to operate. However, let's break down some of the basics of it and help you understand what is what. Alright folks, just like with the handgun video, we have to remember there are 4 firearm safety rules. These are not suggestions, these are concrete things. 1, we do not want to muzzle or point that gun at anything that we do not want to completely destroy or kill. Number 2, I do not put my finger on the trigger until I have my target. So while the gun's down here or being carried around, do not put your finger on the trigger. Number 3, I need to know my target foreground and background. That means I need to know what's between myself and my target and what is beyond my target. Number 4, we treat all weapons as if they're loaded at all times. That way there are no surprises. If you're cleaning your gun and it goes off, that is not an accident, my friends. That is negligence. If you're carrying your gun around on the range and you get ready to shoot and it fires before you get up on your target, negligence. We have to be sincerely focused on what we're doing because the consequences of our negligence can be lethal. So the primary rifle we're going to talk about is the AR15. AR does not stand for assault rifle. That's a made-up term, my friends. AR stands for Armalite Rifle, the company that invented this fantastic gun. Lightweight, fun to shoot. Shoots primarily a .223 or 5.56 millimeter round. Those rounds are very, very close. Yes, there are some small differences, and in the olden days it really mattered. Not so much today. Most guns will run either one. These guns work on a gas system, which means that the gas that is expended through the burning powder actually operates the gun. And that works as this. I have a magazine in there, I press the trigger, the round fires off, the bullet's going down the barrel, and all that gas from the burnt powder for the burnt propellant goes down there as well. Gets about right here, and if you look underneath the handguard, you're going to see a small silver tube. That's our gas tube. That excess gas makes its way up and pushes back towards the gun. And when it does that, it pushes the bolt carrier group of this device right here. That gas pushes it back and compresses inside the spring that is in our stock. There's a spring and something called a buffer in here that all cycles back like this. As that does, it leaves room now for my magazine to push a fresh round up into this opening. Now as my spring compresses as far as it's going to go, it launches back forward. And as it does that, strips a round right off that magazine and pushes it, loads it up into the chamber, and we're ready to go again. Thus a semi-automatic firearm. It is not automatic. I have to press the trigger every single time. Some people can do that very quickly, some not so much. It's irrelevant to what we're doing here though. This thing is gas operated, fairly easy to use, lightweight, and very enjoyable. Now a question I get a lot of times is this. The gun has an external safety on it, but when it's not cycled, people trying to put that gun on safety and it's not going, they think the gun is broken. That is a design aspect of this gun. Unless the bolt is unless the bolt is racked back, it will not release the safety. So I'm going to pull this back, look inside, make sure we're completely clear, drop that forward, and now that it is racked, I can operate my safety. I put the gun down on safe. I like to keep the gun on safe even when it's unloaded. Once again, remember, we treat all weapons as if they're loaded, just to be safe and secure. Now, loaded an AR-15 magazine is dramatically easier than loading a handgun mag, because with the handgun mag, I need to push the round in and push it underneath the lip. That causes a lot of wear and tear in the thumbs. With an AR mag, and I'll use this ETS mag so you can see, we have a spring inside and a follower. This is what this device is called with a round set. I simply take my round, put it on top, push it in and it'll click. Very easy to do, very quick. One thing I have to be concerned about is if I put that round in and I don't push it all the way back, which means it's not all the way inside the magazine, have a lip sticking out, that'll be problematic. The next round won't go. So you need to make sure that that round is all the way back to the back of the magazine. Put my next round in, and so on until you get the magazine loaded up. Now remember folks, I said last time with the handgun video, just because it said it has X capacity doesn't mean we load all the way to capacity. These mags are primarily 30 round mags, but I discourage you from loading into 30 rounds. I tend to go 29, 28 depending upon the magazine. It gives me a little bit of spring left in here. That way when I load it up into the gun, there's a little bit of spring left, and I improve my chances of that magazine seating in the gun. So download that mag by at least one round. Save yourself some frustration. All right, so we have our rifle. Let's get it loaded up. We just loaded our magazine. You can see how the rounds sit in there. And if you see them from the back, you see how they offset. It's a double stack magazine. Double stack means there's 2 rows of rounds and they alternate back and forth. In order to load this gun, I need to bring it to my workspace. We talked about that with handgun. Workspace being something close to my body. While the gun is fairly light, you start pushing away from your body and it's going to get unwieldy in a hurry. So I bring it close to my body. I grab that magazine like I mean it. We don't want to have any delicate moments here. Grab the magazine into your hand. I want to put it into the magazine well. I'm going to push as hard as I can. Pull. And I pull because I want to make sure it did indeed lock into place. By tugging it, I know that occurred. So now my magazine is seated into my gun. Now I need to get round into the chamber. And we do that, there's actually 2 ways to do that. So let's talk about the first way. The bolt is forward, which means it's closed. I need to run the charging handle. The charging handle is this device in the back of the gun. Comes in a lot of configurations. Some are ambidextrous, some are one-sided. This is an ambi or ambidextrous one. Regardless, I like to just use one side of that. So I want to grab that puppy right here. The gun is nice. I just inserted my mag, push, pull. I grab the edge of that charging handle. I'm going to pull it all the way to the rear till it stops, and then I'm going to let it go. Let the spring do all the work. Pull it to the rear like I mean it. You're not going to hurt it, and let it go. By doing that, the spring goes forward and drives my bolt carrier group forward and strips a round off that magazine and puts it into the gun. Now, it sounded good, it felt good, but we need to look inside and make sure it did actually load a round. And I do that by what's called a press check or a chamber check. I grab my charging handle once again, and I gently bring it back just a little bit this time. And if I look inside, if you look inside, we see that there is brass inside the chamber. Now, I want to let that go. I don't want to ride it forward because I run the chance of not letting that bolt seat all the way back in there. So now my gun is completely loaded. Verify that I am on safe. The gun is now hot and we're ready to do what we need to do. So there is another way to load the gun. There may be a time when this bolt is locked to the rear. Maybe you've just been firing it and your last round went out and the bolt locks to the rear. So these guns will they'll actually lock to the rear on an empty magazine. That point, you drop the magazine, put a fresh one in, but a bolt is locked to the rear. Now I can also do that by myself. I can induce that locked bolt position. If you notice on the side of the gun, there's a small little paddle here. It comes in different flavors, different designs, but it's a paddle right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push on that as I bring my bolt to the rear, as I pull my charging handle to the rear. And what you're going to feel is, as the bolt comes back, you're going to feel that go in. And when it does that, it has locked the bolt to the rear. So now you can see the bolt, it's all open and the bolt is locked to the rear. When again is in this configuration, the primary parts of my loading remain the same. I bring it into my workspace, index a fresh magazine, nice firmly. I'm going to seat it in there, push, pull. Now, instead of going back and running that charging handle, my hand's already here. I'm simply going to take this thumb, I'm going to raise it up, I'm going to depress that bolt release. Once again, they come in a lot of different designs, but they're all really the same. As I push that, the bolt now jumps forward, strips around off the mag, and we're back in the fight. Once again though, for loading this way, I want to visually verify that we're loaded, and we are. Gun's unsafe, and we're good to go. Now unloading. Unloading, once again, verify the weapon is on safe. We're in a safe area, muzzle aware. Bring the gun back up into my workspace. And on the side of the gun here near the trigger guard, we have our magazine release. When I push that, it releases the magazine. And in most cases, the magazine will simply fall free. Gun's a little dirty, magazine's a little worn, it may stick, but more times than not, it's going to drop out. Pocket that puppy. Now we need to get the round out of the chamber because I know the gun is still hot. In order to do that, keep my gun close to my workspace, keep my finger out of the trigger guard. I'm going to grab that charging handle, I want to rack it 3 times. Now if you watch close, you're going to see a round come flying out. There's 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to look inside, I'm going to pull that charging handle to the rear. I'm going to visually look inside. I can see inside all the way up to the barrel, and there's no round in there. And if I angle my gun, I can look all the way down the port, the loading port here, or excuse me, the ejection port. Look down there and I can see all the way through the magazine well. I'm now going to stick my fingers in there just to make sure there's nothing in there. And we're clear. The weapon is still unsafe. The gun is now unloaded. The AR15 is a very enjoyable rifle to shoot. As I said, it's lightweight, very mild recoil. Ammunition is fairly affordable. It's not super expensive. It's not free, no ammo is. But it's a good time and very enjoyable to run. I have to say this though, regardless of the platform, pistol, shotgun, whatever, rifle, you need to seek professional training. One is you don't know what you don't know. The operation of an AR rifle or AR15 rifle, there's a little bit more to it than handgun, and I encourage you to seek professional training in order to get really good at it. One byproduct of that though is that training is enjoyable. Training can be fun. You get to spend a day or multiple days with like-minded people running your rifle. I don't see the downside. It's a lot of fun. Learn as much as you can and then practice it. Shooting is a perishable skill, my friends. You could be super good on the range one day, but if you're not back out there for 6 months, you're not going to be very good. So let's keep it going and stay on the range. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions, comments, please just let us know. We're here to help. If you're a new gun owner, welcome aboard. I hope you really enjoyed this. And as I said, if you have questions, just let us know. Hope to see you in class, and until we see you again, stay safe.